World Motorcycle Endurance Championship enters a new era in 2004. 7 races on the calendar, including the first ever FIM sanctioned race in China, the 500 kilometers of Assen, the 12-hour night race at Albacete, the Imola 200 miles, 8 hours of Suzuka, the Oschersleben 24-hour race, and the final sprint, the 200 miles of Vallelunga. For the 2004 season, last year's champions Phase 1 from the United Kingdom have changed their Suzukis for brand new Yamaha R1s, with the Suzuki France team rejoining World Endurance to fly the Suzuki flag. Yamaha not only have Phase 1, but also GMT 94 and Moto 38, with support from Yamaha France, and Yamaha Austria, supporting the number 7 Lifehouse Yamaha. And Honda are back in the game. With HRC parts and help from Tenkate, Honda Austria are fielding the new Fireblade. Kawasaki also hope to mount a significant challenge with their new ZX-10R, fielded by the Swiss Bollinger team in partnership with the UK's Diablo 666 team. Ducati are also present, with Spring Ducati on the new 999, and finally there's a full factory team being run by the Italian Benelli manufacturer this season in the guise of Team X1. In total, 7 manufacturers are represented in the list of permanent teams, with 7 Yamahas, 7 Suzukis, 3 Kawasaki's and 1 bike each from Honda, Benelli, Ducati and MV Agusta, all waiting to race at the first round in Assen. Assen in Holland is situated in the picturesque region of Drenthe and is famous for its numerous outdoor activities, beautiful lakes and mild climate. Motorcycle racing has taken place at Assen for the past 77 years, with races held on open roads until 1954, when a whole new track was built. There have been major renovations since, with the last in 2002, so lap records are all new from that year. The opening round of the World Endurance Championship will be held on Easter Monday, with a host of other events during the weekend, including the Dutch Open Supersport race, the European Championship 125cc race, a major bikers market and even a bicycle race on the Sunday. But it was here at Assen that many of the world's top manufacturers and teams swords for the first time. And with the rejoining of the French Cert Suzuki team and entries from Honda and a full works Benelli effort, the competition was about to get a whole lot tougher. World Endurance has always been an accessible series, with fans really able to get up close to some of the most exotic bikes in the world. This year also saw a host of rider changes, with Frenchman Sébastien Gimbert joining Coste and Checker on the GMT Yamaha, Gwen Giabani moving from the Police 22 team to Moto 38, but keeping his policeman's identification card, former Zhongshan rider Igor Yerman with Yamaha Austria, Laurent Briand to the Swiss Bollinger team, and Stefan Mertens back with the UK's Phase 1. But much of the interest was in Benelli, with former 125 and 500 GP rider Paolo Tessari joining the established X1 team of Andrea Pacelli and Maurizio Bagliacci on the 3-cylinder Italian machine. Benelli is one of the oldest competitors in motorcycle racing. Established in 1911 in Pesaro, Italy, the mark has 2 world championships under its belt, and the factory has always fielded innovative and ambitious designs, with the Tornado 903 the latest in a long line of distinctive machines. After an appearance in World Superbikes, the factory are now backing the X1 team, but new rider Paolo Tessari knows there's still a lot to do.
We have needed time for know the bike, because for now the bike for us is new, and we have need the time every time turn for a new feeling with this bike.
The X1 team were riding the Honda engine Mondial last year, but this year face a whole new challenge of getting the black, green and silver Benelli triple competitive in the extremely tough arena of World Endurance. It's a hard road they've chosen, but the team feel that it's the only way to prove a bike in the real world. Qualifying for the race was done in a mix of damp and dry conditions, with the local wildcards hoping to do well, and so it proved, with both the Herman Verboven Suzuki number 20 and the Payet Kawasaki number 111 out-qualifying both the number 5 Honda and last year's world champions Phase 1. Top French team GMT 94 improved in the dry second qualifying session to take 3rd place on the grid, with David Checker putting in the team's fastest time.
We have a lot of problems during all the weekend. we don't find the setting of the bike. And this morning I tried two bikes, and we find a little bit better setting for the race. And I hope for the race will be better.
Second on the grid would be the superbike specification Yamaha R1 of Yamaha Austria. New recruit Igor Yerman proving his worth.
I hope to stay just after the start, to stay as close as possible and keep riding and not to lose too many seconds. And then after, maybe the pit stops will decide also. So we'll see after 500 kilometers.
But the experienced Cert Suzuki team, led by manager Dominique Mayand, were back with a bang. Frenchman Vincent Philippe grabbing pole position.
Suzuki is very fast. Now we have an engine superbike, so the engine very good. The bike is easy, very easy, and the team is many experience in endurance, so very fast on the pit, and no problem for 500 kilometers. For me, it's easy. Yeah.
Cert Suzuki qualify half a second faster than anyone else and a new lap record, but they're chased by 3 Yamahas and 2 teams with local knowledge, not forgetting Honda Austria and world champions Phase 1. To get around the Assen national circuit quickly, you need the knowledge of local rider Barry Veneman.
There are 4 crucial points here in Assen to get a good lap time. After you get off the main straight, you brake hard and you go back to second gear for the first corner, which is called the Nationale Bocht. Really important here is to get a good exit speed onto the main straight. You go all the way up to 5th and 6th gear for the second wall. Second wall is a short corner, which the line has to be short to get a good exit speed up to the bult. The bult is one of the most has the most banking of the whole track, so it's very good for overtaking. If you stick it up the inside, you always end up as the winner. After the bult, you get Mandeveen Duikersloot, a really difficult corner, because there's only one line and it opens up. And after Mandeveen, you get to run to the flag. So we see who ends up as a winner.
Race day Monday, and it was dry, but not very warm. Many teams were looking for tyres to suit the cold conditions, but grip wasn't a problem, as the Assen track is well known for offering fabulous levels of grip, even in the wet. Finally, the fans were able to see all the bikes lined up in all their glory. As in an endurance race, the riders have to sprint to their machines from the opposite side of the track. Igor Yerman will be starting for the Lifehouse Yamaha Austria team, second on the grid, and the Slovenian rider, who along with many racers has a musical talent, he plays the accordion, couldn't wait to get started. Things were calmer, but just as tense for the third place GMT 94 Yamaha team. The Herman Verboven Suzuki number 20 and the Payet Kawasaki 111 were next to each other on the grid and looking to capitalise at their local circuit. Dean Ellison would be starting for Phase 1, the 2003 world champions qualifying their new Yamaha just behind the new Honda Austria Fireblade. And a close look at the stunning Payet Kawasaki, the virtually stock Kawasaki able to lap within 2 seconds of Cert Superbike Suzuki. The Benelli had qualified in 20th place, but riders Peselli, Tessari and Bagiacci were confident of a much higher finish. There was a huge crowd at Assen, numbers up in a big way on last year despite the cool conditions as they waited for the start. And at 2:45 exactly, the start of 129 laps and the 500 kilometres of Assen was underway. Poleman Vincent Philippe getting the lead, but chased by the Bollinger Kawasaki, which have made a great start from 14th on the grid. World champions Phase 1 were the team that had start line problems this time around. They would start almost last and finish the first lap in 29th place. Meanwhile, the riders had to sort it out on the first lap, with the Herman Verboven number 20 in third, Bridgestone Bikers 47 fourth, GMT 94 fifth, and Moto 38 carving through to 6th place. Barry Veneman on the Verboven bike made local knowledge count immediately by getting past the Bollinger number 8. But the number 20 was soon being chased by GMT 94, who had swept into 4th place. While their rivals were being held up, Vincent Philippe on the Cert number 3 Suzuki was aiming to create a big gap at the front and capitalise on his great start. Meanwhile, the Piaget Kawasaki number 111 was also making use of local knowledge by passing the Fabi course number 51 Suzuki. The end of lap 1, and Cert number 3 led from Herman Verboven number 20 and GMT 94, who had pushed the Bollinger Kawasaki number 8 back to 4th place. And now the battle was on between Barry Veneman on the number 20 and Sebastian Gimbert on the GMT 94 Yamaha. Gimbert was desperate to get past and chase the Cert number 3, but Veneman's skill and local track knowledge meant that the job wouldn't be easy. Finally, by lap 7, Gimbert was able to get past and start chasing the leader. Vincent Philippe on the Cert Suzuki was by now 5 seconds in front of GMT 94. But on lap 9, Sebastian Gimbert posted the fastest lap of the race and a new lap record. And the Yamaha was catching the Suzuki. Lap 15 and the first crash of the race. The Fagershall L X Phase 1 Suzuki number 12 goes down and is too damaged to continue. The Swedish team are out of the race. After doing so well early on, the Herman Verboven Suzuki has to come into the pits with tyre problems, and that would cost them dearly. The Belgian team would restart, but only complete 35 laps. That would move Yamaha Austria up to 3rd place, the Moto 38 Yamaha up to 4th, with the Piaget Kawasaki number 111 40 seconds behind the leader Cert number 3 in 5th place. On the number 7 Superbike Yamaha, rider Igor Yerman had a 21-second gap to close on 1st place and was using all of his experience to chase the leaders down. The Yamaha Austria pit crew were keeping a close watch on Igor Yerman's lap times. Lap 23, and it was the turn of the Phase 1 Junior team to have a problem, and Henry Fincher has to push the number 6 Shell Endurance Academy Suzuki back to the pits. Stefan Mertens had brought the number 1 Phase 1 Yamaha through the pack and up to 8th place, but was still a long way behind the flying Piaget Kawasaki in 5th. Karl Truxess and the Honda Austria number 5 in for their pit stop. The standard tank wasn't suitable for endurance racing, and rider manager Irvin Vilding had built a new one for this race. There wasn't time to make it pretty, but it did the job. After trying to start the engine with the kill switch still on, Vilding eventually gets going and rejoins the race in 12th place. The Moto 38 team of Frédéric Gendre, Stefan Dutern and Gwen Giovanni were once again the dark horse of the race. The Yamaha France-supported R1 was in 4th place, here passing the British Diablo 666 Kawasaki, who were down in 10th. The number 21 Kawasaki Endurance Germany team had a bad crash in practice which left their only fuel tank crushed. It didn't leak, but it wouldn't hold the regulation full tank of fuel, which caused a nasty moment in the pits. The team were down in 20th place, but the Kawasaki is renowned for being bulletproof. The team would finish the race in 15th place. Lap 29, and the Moto 38 Yamaha is in for its scheduled stop. While the Cert number 3 rejoins the race after theirs. They'd entered the pits 3 laps later than rivals GMT 94 and were hoping to keep the lead. Bad news though for the Swiss Bollinger team number 8. Marcel Kellenberger had brought the bike in with an electrical or fuel injection problem, which the team raced to trace. And lying third, Thomas Hinterreiter brought in the number 7 Yamaha, and this was not a scheduled stop.
But the engine goes on 3 cylinders and no power, and they must go in. I don't know what this. Okay.
By now, the GMT 94 Yamaha had got within 2 seconds of the leading cert number 3 Suzuki and were lapping faster.
Yes, now we are just in the rear wheel of the Suzuki, and for sure David will overtake this bike. But with the other relay, probably that will change one time more, so it's a big fight, like Le Mans.
David Checker was flying. The 23-year-old Spaniard was showing what the super production specification Yamaha R1 could do against the full superbike specification Suzuki, and the pit crew were riveted to the timing screens. Checker was trying everything he knew to get past, and the first attempt would be at the end of the start-finish straight into the National Bocht hairpin. He ran wide on the exit, allowing the Suzuki back in front, but it wouldn't be for long. Into Steckenwald, and past, and the Suzuki has no answer this time. Christoph Guillaume and the team are both happy and relieved.
Our choice of tire is not maybe the perfect choice, but we need more temperature on the track, but it's for all the Dunlop tires the same thing. Maybe at the end of the relay it will be okay for us, and for the GMT, no, it's like that.
While all this was going on, the Yamaha Austria team was still trying to diagnose the problem with the number 7 R1.
I think we had no luck, because on the start Igor had no first gear, and right now the bike went perfect, and suddenly only on 3 cylinder, and maybe a technical problem, maybe a valve is broken, we don't know.
And so it proved for the Yamaha Austria team a dropped valve had put them out of the race. Next it was Honda Austria's turn. They were having problems with their brakes, but were soon back in the race.
The engine runs very well. We have it rebased. We have the other bike for this race, but the brake in front, it's not okay. We must very hard push, and so you must, for a great distance, you must control this, and it's very hard to drive, but the bike lives very well.
The third Suzuki number 3 was now in second place, but World Champions Phase 1's charge through the field had been halted after the Yamaha cut out and Sebastian Scarnato was forced to push in.
I don't know, the bike stopped, but I don't know if it's the fuel or normally we have a light for the fuel, and the light wasn't on, so I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Phase 1 would rejoin the race in 25th place, and all the problems from the other teams saw the Honda Austria number 5 Fireblade now up to 4th place, 2 laps down on 3rd and 5 laps away from the leaders. GMT 94 were currently leading, but they were having problems with their Olin suspension, making it difficult to get the power down. That, combined with the sheer performance of the nearly stock Pai Kawasaki down in 14th, meant that they had to choose carefully their moment to pass. The works Benelli in for a pit stop. The number 2 was running well in the race, but 2 drive-through penalties had dropped them out of the top 10.
I come into the pit 122 kilometers, so more than 85. My injury. Second time problem with the 5 people around the bike. So, but I'm happy because I made 50 left, and I'm not tired.
By now, the cert number 3 Suzuki had caught the GNT94 Yamaha, and it was just a matter of time before the Superbike Suzuki would get past. The last pit stop for GNT94, and David Checker takes over for the last relay. A typically slick pit stop for the vastly experienced team, but the damage had been done. And the cert Suzuki number 3 was now 24 seconds in the lead. David Checker would do to reduce the gap, to try maybe to put some pressure on the cert rider to make a mistake, but it was all a vain hope. The last lap, and cert would take victory at their first race on their return to the World Championship of Racing. Just a back marker or two to negotiate safely, and Vincent Philippe would take the win in a very close race. As he crossed the line for the victory, the GNT94 Yamaha would finish only 18 seconds behind them after 500 kilometres and 129 laps of racing. Another Yamaha, Moto 38, would take third, with the Honda Austria number 5 in fourth place. Bridgestone biker Suzuki number 47 got fifth, the Swiss Jet Suzuki sixth, and in a huge battle, Diablo 666 Kawasaki would edge out the Spring Ducati number 10 to get seventh place. Way down and off of the leaderboard and out of the points, the number 1 machine of Stefan Mertens, Dean Ellison and Sebastian Scarnato will finish the race, just one off the bottom in 25th place. And with the first of 2 podiums, Yamaha get third, with Moto 38 and Stefan Dutern, Frederic Jond and Gwen Giabani.
Yeah, we're happy because we had no kilometers on the bike before last race, so we're happy to be here. But you know, there is a big gap between us and GMT and Suzuki, so we don't know if it will be possible in the future to reduce this gap and to fight with them. But we'll try to do our best for that.
GNT94 Yamaha, Sebastian Gimbert, Willem Kost and David Checker came so close, but the second place team showed what a threat they will be for the whole season.
Second place is good for us, and I think after China we will be in test in probably Spain, and we will have a good result for the future.
But the 500 kilometres of Assen belong to Dominique Meillon's cert Suzuki team of Olivier Faure, Mathieu Legrive and Vincent Philippe.
Yeah, it's difficult race. Physically, it's very hard. So the concurrence is here. All the race, the fight with the Yamaha 94 is very difficult. So for me, it's very good because in 24 was off Le Mans. We are unlucky. So now we win here. It's good for the championship, and I'm very happy for the team, for all the people working for the Suzuki.
So the points show the cert team leading, but the manufacturer's battle is the one that counts in world endurance, and it's anybody's battle for the championship. So the opening round of the 2004 World Motorcycle Endurance Championship has shown that although the cert Suzuki team came back to the world scene with a win in the first race, Suzuki's reign may well soon be over. With 5 manufacturers in the top 8 and all manufacturers except Aprilia scoring points, it's a tough season ahead. Suzuki win at Assen, but for the next race we go halfway around the world to the first FIM event ever in the People's Republic of China. It's a 6 hours of Zhuhai on the 2nd of May.